Happy Sunday, everyone. Here's another process video. This one's using all of my new goodies that I got in my two-piece haul, and you'll see a photo of what I pulled for this particular layout here. I don't believe I added anything other than stamps that was from my stash. And here, when you're home with a sick child, you have time to make a sketch. So this is the sketch I'm working off of, and I just drew it out myself. Since I already had my circle cutter still laying on my desk, I decided to use it here. I wanted to use this white background, but I wanted to add little pops of color on my layout. So I decided to cut holes in the background paper and then use some of that Dear Lizzie paper pad to fill the little holes with different designer paper in various colors. So here I'm just kind of following my layout closely. It looks like a piece of Swiss cheese there. And I cut it down 1/4 of an inch all the way around because that paper in the background is a Dear Lizzie paper that's kind of like a greenish color, and I wanted a small border of that. So now I'm just deciding what papers I want to fill in the little holes, and I need to adhere those first because I plan on using a zigzag stitch to adhere the white paper to the green. So I'm looking for ones that are quite colorful and add little pops of color, and also go with the colors and the embellishments. For instance, this flower paper right here had that nice purple that was in the Cartabella sticker sheet that I pulled, and I knew I wanted to use that lavendery purple deer. And I'm picking a red color. I like this kind of wood grain because I know I'm going to be using some other embellishments with that same tone. Picking another floral. I don't think both florals ended up on this layout. I'm trying to take a look. Yeah, no, I picked the one with the smaller floral just because I didn't need too many floral patterns that had multiple colors in them. So now I'm just cutting down the paper. I just cut hunks out. I didn't know how much I would want or need, so I didn't waste any of it, though. I kept the rest of it for a card. And I'm just laying these down behind there. I'm not adding any dimensional or anything like that. I do want them to be flat because I'm going to add dimension in other ways to the layers of the layout. Just picking where I want everything, cutting it out, and doing the adhering. I think I start to realize here that using my ATG gun to go around these circles is a pain, and so I grab a smaller adhesive roller that just is able to be manipulated more, so you'll see me switch to that eventually. And these photos are just of us relaxing at home. Reagan has games on my iPad, and so she was sitting on the couch playing with them, and that's what this layout's about, is just being at home and doing things with your family that you love. And so I wanted to focus on that, and that's why I also chose that Ellie Edwards stamp that said Home Sweet Home on it. So now, as you can see, I'm still laying all this down, and I was just cutting off the excess that was coming over the edge of the white paper, and I'm moving on to this polka dotted pattern here. At first I was a little bit weary of using those designer papers with the white background because my main piece of paper, the one that looks like Swiss cheese, is kind of a cream. But, you know, I got over it real quick and I thought it looked good. There I just finally did the sewing, but you can't see. I always do it off camera because it's on a different table, but I just did a zigzag stitch with that aqua thread that I'm obsessed with right now and has made it onto every layout. I put these photos in black and white because I didn't want her Batman shirt to distract from the layout since it's so colorful, and I actually like the way that they turned out. And now I'm taking a look at these Maggie Holmes photo, what do you call these? Oh my god, like almost instant photo borders, and I'm trying to pick one that goes around the photo pretty well. So I decided to go on this smaller one, and then after I adhere it, I'll just cut out the excess around it. And there were only 3 to choose from, so I didn't choose that kind of wood grain corky colored one. It's like corkboard, because it was going to be on the circle that I put the wood grain background in, and so I just thought it would clash. So I went with the gray and the green, and I like this little pop of green here. And these frames, oh my god, that's what they're called. Sorry guys. These frames are really thin chipboard, so they're easy to like bend and manipulate. It's not like the thicker chipboard that you can't move around or lift up if you already adhere them down. So I'm cutting them, and then I know that my sketch called for a photo pocket on the left hand side. Now, I don't know if you remember in the sketch, but there were some arrows that I had drawn below where that pocket's going to go. Well, instead I end up putting it above the pocket because I cut that circle higher up than I had expected. there I'm just showing you that I used my typewriter to just type my journaling, and at the very end of the journaling, the typewriter kind of went crooked, but I like the natural like look of it and that it just looks hand done. This is a stamp I bought a long time ago, and I gave it to Sherry. Sherry really liked it, and it was the last one in the store, and I gave it to her to use first, and then she just brought it back to me, so I decided to use it on this layout because I hadn't had a chance. And I just used wet cement ink, and I didn't really think much. I just sort of rolled it there. I didn't want it to be perfect, and I thought it really brought out the gray in that center frame. And now I'm using Tide Pool to stamp this Home Sweet Home stamp, but I know I want the geotag that comes above that saying to be a different color. So I'm being very careful not to ink the geotag. I'm wiping it off with a baby wipe and just putting the verbiage, the words on there. This color. And then I think I use pale tomato ink to do the geotag in a little bit. I always look for a good opportunity to stamp, and when I'm using a light colored background that doesn't have texture, like it's not a textured cardstock, to me that is an opportunity to use my stamps. So I always make sure I use them, plenty of them, when I'm using a layout or doing a layout like this. So now I'm just trying to get that stamp. It was giving me a hard time to get back into the packaging. And now I'm finally committing to the layout, and I'll decorate around it. I'm only putting adhesive in the middle of those in case I want to tuck stickers and stuff behind it. So I think I'm just referencing the sketch that I made, and I'm going to commit to making my title now. The main word was going to be relaxing, because this is all about relaxing at home, and I'm using these. Oh, these aren't things that I recently bought. These are from Whims and Doodle. I got them from the October Afternoon Flash, what is it called? Flashpoint collection? Flashback collection? I don't know. I don't have my paper up here, but they're these gray and white striped chipboard letters. So I'm using a ruler just to lay them out, make sure that they're not getting crooked. And then I'm going to use my Milo stamp set from Lawn Fawn to stamp At Home With You in some teal ink. And that teal ink is from a dewdrop from, I believe, is it Memento? I think it's Memento. We'll see here in a second. So I'm just lining up my words, and I think I had room to write At Home With and then the Y-O of the word you, but I had to stamp the U later after I already stamped this. Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I can fit it, and then I'm thinking, no, it's hanging off the side too much, so I'll wait to do the U. Yep, it's this little dewdrop. Nope, I think it's Versa Magic. Yeah, it's Versa Magic. And I stamp it. I really like the way that it turned out, and it really brings in the blue of the flowers in the little circle to the left of the title. Then I just add the U. And now that I have my title on there and the base of my layout, I'm going to start looking at my embellishments to decide how I want to embellish this project. Because that's basically all my sketch provided me with, was what's on there right now. I knew I wanted to use that purple deer. I don't know why, it just was really drawing my eye, so I decided to put it right here because the flowers right above the deer brought out that nice purpley color. And then I'm also liking these little flower clusters you'll see me pick in just a second. I think I try to start using their sequin stickers, and I try to use them in one fashion, and then I think I end up removing them because I don't like the way that they look. And I end up putting them back on later. So this is just one of those times where you put something down on your project and you're just not feeling it. So I end up taking them off. And I do end up adding clusters instead of using real sequins, just because I thought the colors match these Cartabella stickers. And here's where I see that the flower clusters have that same purple that's in the deer and the same red that's in the little pocket I decided to use on my page. So I cut them in half, and I have them just popping out of the backgrounds of the frames and the little journaling pocket. Just sticking them underneath. I thought about sticking some there, and then I say no, I'm going to put it over here. And again, a lot of it's just taking a look, seeing where I think things are needed, and then moving on to another embellishment pack. Here's where I think, well, maybe I'll use some real sequins, and then I decide against it. So now I'm opening these Oh Darling Vellum embellishments, and I cut into them and just start sorting through and seeing what embellishments really go with my layout. And I like that, I don't like that it says love you, but I like the word love because the title can also go love relaxing at home with you. So I committed to that. I decided to keep that up at the top, and I can always use the U on another layout. And then this was a little border piece that was the same color as that wood grain paper, and it has a cream polka dot on it. So I just cut it off and used it to underline my title in several different lengths, and I really like the way that that looked. And I'm just using my roller adhesive to put that down. Since the vellum is darker, you can't see the adhesive through it. Then there were these hearts that had like a tone-on-tone color, so I add them to layer around Reagan's photo. And on the sticker sheet from Cartabella, there was this in this together, and so since this was about like our home life and us being together, and it was that nice purple color, I added that on top. Just did a lot of layering here. Still sorting through, seeing if there's anything else in there I'm interested in using. And I think I end up adding one more heart. Oh, that's right. I bring out my StazOn to stamp the date on where it says date on that little frame, and since the frame has a slick surface, the StazOn would work better and not smudge. There's where I added the other heart. And now I'm just sorting through, making sure there's nothing else I want to do. I wanted to add some chevrons to point to the word love, just so that it didn't get lost up there and there was some focus to it. So this is me doing that right now. So I'm basically done now. The only other thing I do is adhere this word and then add some of those sequins that I originally took off around the layout. So here are some pictures of the finished product, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.